Hey friends! Did you know that in history, there's a king whose personal decisions led to the creation of an entirely new religion? Let's dive into the story of one of England's most controversial monarchs, King Henry VIII. Henry VIII became the King of England in the early 1500s, after the death of his elder brother. He was just 17 years old when he ascended the throne. His first marriage was to Catherine of Aragon, who, interestingly, was his late brother's widow. But Henry was not the kind of man to remain loyal to just one woman. He was infamous for his affairs and relationships with many beautiful women at court. When Queen Catherine failed to give him a male heir after many years, Henry turned his attention to one of his court ladies, Anne Boleyn. He wanted to marry her, but the church didn't allow divorce or remarriage without the Pope's consent. So Henry sent his chief advisor, Cardinal Thomas Wolsey, to plead with the Pope. But the Pope refused. This made Henry furious. In his rage, Henry confiscated all of Cardinal Wolsey's property and forced him into disgrace, where he eventually died in misery. Then Henry did the unthinkable. He broke away from the Roman Catholic Church and started dismantling Catholic monasteries in England. He formed a new religion, the Church of England, with himself as its supreme head. England became the first country where the Pope had no power. Ironically, a few years earlier, the Pope had given Henry the title Defender of the Faith for writing against Protestant reformers. But now, Henry had created a faith of his own, one that still exists today in the form of the Anglican Church, followed by millions across the UK. After breaking away from Rome, Henry married Anne Boleyn. He sent his first wife Catherine and their daughter Mary away to live in isolation. But tragedy struck again. And also failed to give Henry a son and gave birth to a daughter, Elizabeth. Furious and desperate, Henry accused Anne of false charges and had her beheaded. This was the same Anne Boleyn who once entered the royal palace with grace and glory, now executed publicly. Many nobles who refused to support the king's decisions were also executed, including Sir Thomas More, the author of the famous book Utopia. Soon after, Henry married Jane Seymour, who finally gave him a son, Edward. Sadly, Jane died shortly after childbirth. Next, Henry married a German princess, Anne of Cleves, but quickly fell out of love with her and had her exiled to a distant country. Then came Catherine Howard, Henry's fifth wife. She was young, lively, and full of laughter, a quality Henry couldn't tolerate. He accused her of infidelity and had her executed as well. Finally, Henry married Catherine Parr, his sixth and last wife, who was lucky enough to outlive him. By this time, Henry had become physically and mentally weak, bedridden due to an unhealed leg wound and extreme obesity. He reportedly consumed up to 5,000 calories a day. Eventually, in 1547, Henry VIII died a painful death, leaving behind a legacy of chaos and a completely transformed English church. After his death, his long